Hello YouTube, Delta4096 here with a quick video about the PzKpfw VIII mouse. It's the second of the two Tier 10 German heavy tanks, and in my opinion, the better of the two. While I'm talking here, we're going to get the replay started. As you can see, I have several mods on here you're going to be hearing, such as an engine sound mod, a gun sound mod. I've also got a reticle mod. It's the multi-maps reticle mod. I love the thing because it's great. Anyways, I wanted to show this battle off because it's it's a great example of where the mouse lives up to its infamous reputation of being extremely heavily armored and able to just tank anything and everything that gets thrown at it, which you will see as the replay progresses. I want to give a quick shout out to one of my newest subscribers and fans. His username is Königstiger. If I mispronounced that, it's a German name. I know it's German. If I mispronounced that, I'm sorry. But anyways, I just want to give a quick shout out to him because I know that he has been working, or is working towards getting his mouse in World of Tanks. And I just wanted to share this video especially for him, so he could see just what he's heading towards. Anyways, the mouse is by far my favorite of all the Tier 10s in World of Tanks currently. This is with update 9.4 being out, so you know you've got all of the those glorious Tier 10s sitting out there. However, my go-to tank will always be the mouse. As we're progressing up the battle, obviously the mouse is extremely slow. Its top speed is 20 km/h, and that's if you're lucky to hit a hill or on flat terrain that's, you know, solid, not like rough terrain like the grass and things like that. The mouse can be easily beaten if you know how to work it. It's usually mainly shooting it in the front of the turret, to the left or the right of the gun, but you've got to get the right angle, and a lot of times it usually takes premium rounds like heat or APCR. Sometimes if you got a really high penetrating gun, the regular AP rounds will do it. And before the penetration nerf, the FE215B 183 could actually do it. And there are a few other tanks out there that can. However, if you come up across a mouse driver that is really adept with his tank, you are going to have a very hard time being able to punch through this thing's armor. And it can take on an entire team just about, which you're actually going to kind of see in this replay, because that's what ends up happening, as you will see. It's all about being able to use the mouse effectively and use its armor like it should be used. Is all about angles. You know, I mean, yeah, that you might be thinking to yourself, well, obviously, Delta. I mean, you angle a tank, you're going to have a hard time penetrating. However, you have to find the sweet spot. And the mouse can be one of those where it's a little tricky to find its sweet spot sometimes. The biggest tip that I can give is keep the corner of your turret and the corner of your hull facing the enemy at all times. It provides that extreme angle that makes it very hard to penetrate, as you have been seeing here in the replays thus far. T57 Heavy unloaded an entire clip on me and didn't do any damage to me at all because I had that right angling. Excuse me. Now, it's great when you can find a building or a rock like you see me using here in the replay, to where you can hide your front hull, because that little bitty space of plate, the lower plate, in between the tracks is 200 millimeters of only slightly angled armor and can be penetrated with regular AP rounds very easily if you give it to them as a flat piece of armor. Having a building or a rock to hide that behind, and then using that rear-mounted, well, I say rear-mounted, but it's almost more towards the middle because how large it is, turret to do exactly what you're seeing me doing, backing up, using it, getting a shot, then moving right back forward again to hide that hole. Using this strategy, you can tank a lot of damage in this thing. As you can see, I've been doing this against this PzKpfw VIII that has been determined to kill me, as he has unloaded 2 to 2.5 clips onto me and has only had one penetrating hit through the entire thing. Tracking a mouse is just mean, because, I mean, it's a big tank. You go everywhere extremely slow, and just not being able to go anywhere is just almost cruel. However, that's the great part about the mouse, is it is meant to absorb damage. It's a damage sponge. As you can see right there, the T-57 switched to heat and still couldn't penetrate me, and all of a sudden I'm the only one left on this flank. I'm going to kind of start narrating a little bit on the replay. I've lost all my support. They all got killed. I mean, it happens. So now it's just down to me versus a T-57 Heavy, an IS-7, an IS-8, and a T-30. Thankfully, there's a Waffenträger E100 sitting way in the back at B8, giving me some sniper support. It saves my butt a couple times, like when it kills the T-30, because there's no way I could have dealt with him being on my side. I took out the IS-8 early. Now I have this T-57 and this IS-7 sort of working together trying to flank. The Waffenträger, covers me when the T-57 Heavy decides to try and flank. It unfortunately runs out of ammo and has to reload. However, the RE comes in and helps, and I finish off the T-57 Heavy, and now it's just me and this IS-7 basically having a nice little standoff. And as you can see, I've got that angling going on. I've got the corners. I've got my hull hidden a little bit thanks to the hill. And the IS-7 is having problems penetrating me. Now, the reason I don't just charge him once my tracks come back up is because I'm trying to lure him into shooting my angled armor again. This way I know he's got to reload and gives me a chance to advance. He tries to poke out, and the Waffenträger kind of quickly changes his mind, and he starts to retreat. And so with his retreat, I start advancing again, keeping my turret angled and my hull angled so that if he does decide to shoot me, it's going to bounce. Now, when it comes to if you end up in an open field with the mouse, an open field is the mouse's worst enemy, because not only is RD going to target you because you are one of the slowest moving targets in the game, so you know it's not going to be hard to hit, but it also exposes you to every side that an enemy could flank on and hit you or whatever. However, if you know where an enemy's position is dug in at, you can advance on this line. As long as you know where they're at, the general idea of where they're at, you can advance on this line, and with done right, take very minimal damage. And I'll give a quick shout out. I can't remember his entire username, but he is in the clan known as Harm. They were recently featured by Wargaming on War Tanks. But he goes by his username is Maverick, and then he like I said, I can't remember the full name, but I know Maverick is his main part of his username. I want to give a quick shout out to him for teaching me how to use the mouse to its absolute maximum potential. I got to where I call it basically the dance of the mouse, simply because it is almost like doing a small dance when you're advancing down a field. Basically, it's all about doing a zigzag maneuver, keeping the angles of your tank towards the enemies, to where no matter where they shoot you, they're just going to bounce right on off. And it's literally just zigzagging around, doing almost like a little dance down the field. And done right, it's hard to get used to. It took me a lot of practice to be able to get where I could do it, and I still don't do it perfectly. I'm not going to, toot my horn and say I'm a perfectionist, and I can't do it perfectly every time. However, done right, you can advance down the middle of Malinovka. That field right there, you could just charge straight at them, and if you know where they're at and doing it, and you do it right, you can take very minimum damage, and all of a sudden you're right there in their little their base, having taken very little damage, and obviously getting a lot of scouting done for your team. That's another thing. The mouse makes the best scout in the game because of its super armor. You just kind of lollygag down the ways, and as you're going, you're spotting people left and right, and getting lots of spotting damage. I had a game one time where I had about 3,700 assistance damage due to me spotting targets in my mouse, because I went charging ahead. Now here in the replay, you see I've been trying to keep the IS-7 from killing me by using the rock to my advantage. I want to stay already safe as well, and the Waffenträger finally comes up and gets a nice flank going on the IS-7, and we take him out. Now here in just a second, I know it's going to look weird, but I'm going to the replay is going to skip a frame. The replay is pre-recorded while I'm narrating here, so it'll jump a few seconds ahead. So don't just right there. Now, all that's left on the enemy team now is their artillery, a tortoise, their own Waffenträger and a Patton. I was asking here in the chat, if you see in the chat here, part of it got cut out because of the jump ahead. I was asking which TD was at the hill, where you can see on the mini-map there, and it was the Tortoise, which worried me because that means there's still a Waffenträger hiding out there somewhere that can easily finish me off, since I have no idea where he's at, and can't do the little dance or angling that I need to do to be able to get up on him. However, the other, our Waffenträger shoots a little ahead of me and is basically kind of doing a scouting run to see what he can spot. I'm sitting here just trying to get a shot on the Tortoise, maybe, you know, help out the guys on the hill or get an extra kill, you know, that kind of stuff. But the Jagdpanzer E100 makes short work of the poor Tortoise. And then our Waffenträger spots theirs. Gets one shot on him, and then their Waffen takes out ours. And I'm like, uh-oh. Because now it's me versus a Waffenträger E100. He has enough health that an AP round and an APCR round is not going to finish him off. But I know that that big old gun shield of his on the top is extremely thin. You know, it's paper thin. Glass tank, I believe, is the term that wargaming and most other players use. So I switched to HE because I know that if I can get a penetrating shot on that little gun shield, on that big gun shield, that I can probably kill him if I'm lucky. I start to advance over the hill, and that's when I think to myself, okay, he could be right over there waiting for me, and I don't really need to chance that, because if he gets the shot on me, I'm screwed. So I decide to kind of sit there and wait, and get people in the chat talking to me, and that's when he appears off to my left, and I start backing up. I whip it around, that gun shield comes into view, I take a pot shot because I was afraid I was going to die, and the HE round penetrates like I need to, and I'm able to kill it. So I breathe a huge sigh of relief, kind of getting adrenaline pumping into the action, and you know, HE does a great job. Anyways, that takes care of the Waffen, so all that's left now is the Patton, which we know just took out the arty, and for some reason didn't go into our cap zone. So I mosey my own little way into their cap. You know, I'm helping coordinate. I asked the T-30 to go back since he is full health. He can deal with the Patton in case he spots him. And the Jagdpanzer E100 decides to truck his way over here and assist me in capping, which I was very grateful with. Everybody, you know, giving me compliments in the chat and all that good stuff. But this is a great example of what the mouse is capable of doing in battle. Great armor. I mean, it's 200 in the hull for frontal armor, 240 in the turret in the front, and obviously a little bit less in the sides and the rear, but I can't recall the exact numbers right now since I'm only doing the replay here as part of the review. Anyways, Königstiger, I hope this video gives you a nice teaser on what you're looking for, what you have to look forward to, and even helps you understand a little bit more on how to play the mouse. And don't forget, guys, right here as the battle is winding down, don't forget to like and subscribe, like this video and subscribe to my channel. Head over to Facebook and find me over there. It's Delta4096. Like the page to keep up with updates. I'm hoping to get back into things. Again, it's been a while. I'm going to have the battle results up, as you'll be seeing here now. Check out my PzKpfw review up here. It'll be in one of the corners of the video here. And see you on the battlefield, guys. Good luck out there.